Hello guys, this is Ravi. Today we are going to derive an AC equivalent circuit for the fixed bias circuit. Fixed bias circuit is the DC biasing circuit for any transistor. It consists of only one DC source. Now we are considering a fixed bias circuit. In a fixed bias circuit, there is only one DC source, and in this circuit, capacitor C1 and C2 are the coupling capacitor which are used to block the DC. Basically, for the DC analysis, capacitor and capacitors, all the capacitors are open circuited. Basically, DC analysis are used for finding the operating point or the Q point, or it is also known as quiescent point. Quiescent means quiet, not movable. Due to change in temperature, we have to fix the operating point. That's why it is known as Q point. Now for the AC analysis, we have to we have to short all the DC sources present in the circuit. So while shorting the DC source, we'll got this type of circuit. In this VCC will be 0. This is base resistance, this is collector resistance, this is your source resistance, and this is Vs. Vs is basically the input signal, while this is your source resistance. And this capacitor C1 will be short circuited for the AC analysis, and this capacitor C2 will also be short circuited for the AC analysis. For the DC signal, we know that we have a capacitive reactance. Capacitive reactance means Xc, that means 1 upon 2 pi F into C. For the DC signal, the frequency will be 0. If we put F is equals to 0 in this capacitive reactance, then this will become infinite. 1 by 0 means infinite. So for the DC signal, capacitor will act as an open circuit. For the AC signal, this frequency will increases, and we will got a finite value for this. Objective is to find the input and output impedance of an circuit in which AC signal is applied. For that, we have to first find out the AC equivalent circuit, and for that AC equivalent circuit, we have to replace the transistor with its equivalence transistor model. For the AC analysis, we have to short all the DC sources, in the previous figure we have DC sources VCC, and we have replaced it with 0. VCC is equals to 0. This VCC is equals to 0, and C1 and C2 are short circuited. So this circuit will become this. In VCC we have put 0 volt because after VCC there is a ground. So when we short circuited, then it will become 0 volt, and C1 and C2 will be also short circuited for the AC analysis, and our circuit will become like this. This resistance RB is connected to the ground, and this node is also connected to the ground. So this resistance and this branch is also in parallel, we can say. So this RB is in parallel with this emitter terminal. Similarly, this collector resistance is connected to the 0 volt, and this node is also connected to the 0 volt. So this whole transistor is in parallel with the RC. So the resistance, collector resistance and the load resistance are in parallel. So we will got the following circuit by connecting this to ground and this collector resistance to the ground. Then another motive is to replace this transistor with its equivalent transistor model. In the previous lecture, I have mentioned how to find the transistor model for any transistor for a BJT. So we will replace this transistor with its transistor model, and we will get this type of circuit. In this, we have replaced this transistor with this equivalent model. We can see that this is input Vs, this is Vs, this is source resistance, this is Rb, base resistance, this is also Rb, and this transistor model is replaced with its equivalent Re transistor model. And after that we will got the collector resistance, load resistance. This is collector resistance, load resistance. In this circuit, this Rb and beta plus 1 Re is in parallel, and also that in output resistance, collector resistance and load resistance, these three terminals are in parallel. So this is the main objective, is to find for the AC analysis, to finding the Re model for any transistor. Now for the given circuit, we have to calculate different parameters such as input impedance, output impedance, current gain, voltage gain, overall current gain, overall voltage gain. In this lecture we are going to find out the input and the output impedance. First we will assign a ports like 1 dash and 2 dash. 1 dash are the input ports and 2 dash are the output ports. For finding the input impedance, we know that impedance is input voltage upon input current. For that we will consider a voltage between these two nodes is Vi, while this is your input current. Now we have to find the impedance between the 1 and 1 dash, and the output impedance between 2 and 2 dash. We can say that the input impedance Zi is equals to Vi upon the subscript Ii. From this relation, one more thing, the voltage across this base resistance is equals to the voltage across this resistance beta plus 1 Re, because these two resistances are in parallel. So this Vi is equals to the voltage drop across Rb and the voltage across this beta plus 1 Re. So from this we can say that input impedance is equals to Vi upon Ii, or we can also say that the impedance between these two nodes is equals to the parallel of these two resistances. We can directly find out this input impedances. These two are in parallel, so we will get this expression Rb parallel beta plus 1 Re. By solving this we will get this expression Rb in brackets beta plus 1 into Re upon Rb plus beta plus 1 Re. There is another method from which we can get the input impedance. We also know that input impedance is voltage drop upon this Ii. There is a total current Ib that is flowing through this resistance beta plus 1 Re. There is a one current that is flowing through Rs and one current is flowing through Rb. According to KCL, we know that the current entering into a node is equals to the current leaving from that node. From the current divider rule, we can say that the current Ib is equals to current Ib is across this resistance beta plus 1 into Re. We know that the voltage Vi is equals to the potential drop across this resistance. So we can directly write this voltage drop means V is equals to I into R. The current across this resistance is Ib. So we can write this Ib, and resistance is given as that. So we can directly write beta plus 1 Re into Ib upon total current. Total current is Ii, that has been shown in this figure, Ii. So by putting these values we will find this. And also we know that from the current divider rule we can say that if a current I is flowing into this two resistances, then the value of this I2 current can be find out by multiplying this current I into R1 upon R1 plus R2. In the similar way we can find I1 is equals to I into R2 upon R1 plus R2. From this same relation we can say that from in this circuit we can write a relation between IB and I. From this, IB is equals to II into RB upon RB plus beta plus 1 RE. This is the value of IB we get from this circuit, and we will replace in this equation for the value of IB. In the place of IB, we will put II into RB upon RB plus beta plus 1 in the brackets RE. By manipulating this equation or solving this equation, we can get this value. From this equation, we can say that RB and beta plus 1 RE are in the parallel. So we write in more simpler way that input impedance ZI is equals to RB parallel of beta plus 1 R. There is a one approximation that the value of beta is much larger than S1 because the current gain of common emitter configuration is very large as compared to 1. So we replace this beta plus 1 with respect to beta. So by putting this approximation in our input impedance equation, we will get this expression. We will replace this beta plus 1 with a beta, and in denominator also we replace this beta plus 1 with a beta. So we get this expression beta RE into RB upon RB plus beta RE. Now in the second case, if we assume that the value of RB is greater than equals to 10 times beta plus 1 RE, so by using this approximation, we will neglect this beta plus 1 RE with respect to RB in the denominator. In this denominator, we will neglect this beta plus 1 RE with respect to RB because we have assumed that the value of RB is greater than equals to 10 times beta plus 1 RE. So by putting this approximation in this equation, input impedance equation, we will get this. In the final input impedance, we will get is beta plus 1 RE. This is the condition when RB is greater than equals to 10 times beta plus 1 RE. Now next we have to find output impedance. For finding the output impedance, we have assumed that the input source Vs is equals to 0 and load resistance is infinite. We can also say that input voltage will be short circuited and output will be open circuited for finding the output impedance. So if Vs is equals to 0 in this given circuit, in the input section, if we say that this Vs is equals to 0, then we can say that there will be no current passing through in the circuit, means II, the value of II or IB will be 0, or we can say that this input voltage Vi, this is also 0. And if the value of base current is 0, then we can say that the value of IC is also equals to 0 because it is the current gain. Current gain means beta is equals to IC over IB. If the value of beta is IB is equals to 0, then IC will also be 0. If IC will 0, then there will be no current passing through this load resistance RL and it will become infinite. So we have got this few equations in this. By putting this assumption in the output section, because we have to find the output impedance, by doing so we can say that if IB is equals to 0, so in this our circuit, this is our output section. It's okay, yes, this is our output section. We can say that IB is equals to 0, then IC is equals to 0, then will be no current passing through this circuit. So we have only resistance R0, RC, and the value of RL will be infinite. We have seen this in the previous equation. So we have open circuited this RL. We will get this output section, and from that we can easily say that the output impedance Z0 will be parallel of this R0 and RC. So we will get this output impedance R0 is equals to, Z naught is equals to R naught parallel RC. This is the parallel relation between this. In this output impedance, we do also have some approximations. From the basics of bipolar junction transistor, we have gone through that if the output resistance of a common emitter configuration is in the mega ohms, while the output resistance of a common base configuration is very high, is ideally we can say that it is infinite. So if we assume output resistance is greater than or equals to 10 times RC, then we replace this approximation in our output impedance equation. This Z naught is equals to R naught RC upon R naught plus RC. Then we can neglect RC as compared to R naught. From this relation we can get the output impedance RC, that is equals to collector resistance. So this is for this lecture. Thank you guys.